presence of a good man, think all the time how you may learn to equal him. In the presence of a bad man, turn your gaze within. A young man's duty is to behave well to his parents at home and to his elders abroad. Forget injuries, never forget kindness. To study and not think is a waste. To think and not study is dangerous. Silence is the true friend that never betrays. To go too far is as bad as not to go far enough. The hardest thing of all is to find a black cat in a dark room, especially if there is no cat. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability he has. It does not matter how slowly you go so long as you do not stop. Moral force never dwells in solitude. It will always bring neighbors. In the morning, hear the way. In the evening, die content. He who knows all the answers has not been asked all the questions. Meet resentment with upright dealing, and meet inner power with inner power. Attack the evil that is within yourself, rather than attacking the evil that is in others. An oppressive government is more to be feared than a tiger. Till you have learned to serve men, how can you serve ghosts? Till you know about the living, how are you to know about the dead? Music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. Men's natures are alike, it is their habits that separate them. By nature, near together, by practice far apart. He who rules by moral force is like the pole star, which remains in its place while all the lesser stars do homage to it. The funniest people are the saddest ones. He who does not economize will have to agonize. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without. The way out is through the door. Why is it that no one will use this method? There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is limitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The gem cannot be polished without friction, nor man without trials. Without feelings of respect, what is there to distinguish men from beasts? When you see a good person, think of becoming like her, him. When you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. You cannot open a book without learning something. Forget injuries, never forget kindnesses. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve and bad things are very easy to get. If a man in the morning hear the right way, he may die in the evening without regret. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals. Adjust the action steps. Hold faithfulness and sincerity as first principles. Give a bowl of rice to a man and you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to grow his own rice and you will save his life. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. Study the past if you would define the future. Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it. When prosperity comes, do not use all of it. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors. The way you cut your meat reflects the way you live. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake. When you know a thing, to hold that you know it, and when you do not know a thing, to allow that you do not know it, this is knowledge. The object of the superior man is truth. Heaven means to be one with God. If names are not correct, language will not be in accordance with the truth of things. Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. A scholar who loves comfort is not fit to be called a scholar. Only the wisest and stupidest of men never change. Study the past if you would divine the future. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Faced with what is right, to leave it undone shows a lack of courage. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. There is one word which may serve as a rule of practice for all one's life: reciprocity. Never do to others what you would not like them to do to you. The superior man understands what is right. The inferior man understands what will sell. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. When anger rises, think of the consequences. To know what is right and not do it is the worst cowardice. They must often change. Who would be constant in happiness or wisdom? What is over and done with, one does not discuss. What has already taken its course, one does not criticize. What already belongs to the past, one does not censure. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. The demands that a gentleman makes are upon himself, those that a small man makes are upon others. If we don't know life, how can we know death? Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation there is sure to be failure. The Duke of Xi asked about government. The master said, when the near approve and the distant approach. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. He who is influenced neither by the soaking in of slander nor by the assault of denunciation may indeed be called illumined. Is goodness indeed so far away? If we really wanted goodness, we should find that it was at our very side. And remember, no matter where you go, there you are. He who will not worry about what is far off will soon find something worse than worry close at hand. The faults of a superior person are like the sun and moon. They have their faults, and everyone sees them, they change, and everyone looks up to them. The more man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Respect yourself and others will respect you. He who speaks without modesty will find it difficult to make his words good. Learning without thought is labor lost. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. The The knight of the way who thinks only of sitting quietly at home is not worthy to be called a knight. To go beyond is as wrong as to fall short. If I am walking with two other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself.